Hello YouTube and welcome to a new episode of Carpool Movie Critiques from Would-Be Productions. This week we saw Avengers Infinity Wars. I had a very good time. It was really fun. Honestly, it's about 2 hours, 40 minutes. I wasn't bored a second.
You
I
liked
know.
an Avengers movie.
I said I had a good time.
But you don't see the time passing. 2 hours, 40 minutes. Pregnant woman here drank a whole thing of water, did not even think about peeing. Like I didn't fall asleep. That's a first.
Good job, Marvel.
Back to you.
It was.
Sorry.
It was a lot of fun. 2 hours, 40 minutes. No really dead time, and that's because the pace was really quick. And sometimes that makes me like super bored, like the last Jurassic World. Boring because it was a video clip. This one had humor. It had obviously a great cast, some interesting characters, but it's not all like rainbows and unicorns. Honestly, there is no depth. But again, it's an Avengers movie. It's trying to be fun in order to get people to the theater and get a ton of money, and that's what they'll do.
Yeah, it'll be successful.
Yeah, and I think part of the lack of depth is because there are too many characters. It's just like you can't develop anything with that. So there's a plot. It's a good thing that this movie comes now after a couple Avengers and after a couple hundred Marvel movies.
Right
because
after Black
then,
Panther too.
At this point, you should be acquainted with everybody and all their like backstories. So
And
I
if
guess
you're not, don't see it because you won't understand what's going on.
honestly, I was lost a couple times. I'm not gonna lie. But my main point, I guess, before I hand it out to James to talk about cast ensembles, is that this is an Avengers movie, and I feel like the Guardians actually stole the show. So I'm not sure it's an Avengers movie, even though Thor had a big role, big play in the script. So
but he essentially became kind of like an honorary Guardian
He did.
throughout like the
I
whole
think
film.
he was inducted into the Guardians.
He
Basically,
was.
yeah.
He was by the rabbit.
By
By the
the kind rabbit.
Love the rabbit.
Oh, that rabbit though.
yeah,
Tell us about ensemble casts.
I love ensemble cast movies. I think they're brilliant. I mean, tracing all the way back to something like A Bridge Too Far, when basically every speaking part is played by someone incredibly famous and very good at their craft. But, I mean, now that we've gone through so many separate characters in the Marvel franchise, it's kind of getting ridiculous. And even though it was a long-ass movie, it was nearly 3 hours, it just felt like a string of cameos. Like, no one really had, like, their own time or anything. It felt like, you weren't really watching anyone on screen for any more than, like, 15 minutes a person, tops.
So in that way, actually, going to that, I kind of feel like that's what happens with the last season of Game of Thrones. Even though it's still good, though. I don't know, maybe they have a different recipe that works better. But I felt the same way. It seems to be a trend now. I don't know.
Maybe
Yeah,
there's
I
some
mean-
data on that. Millennial attention spans.
All The Walking Dead. And that they didn't have the recipe
Oh,
of The
man.
Walking Dead.
No.
Keep going.
God, no. Jeez.
So, did anybody have a favorite character?
I do.
All right.
Well, it's honestly a toss-up between Drax, as always,
Yes.
and
Love Drax.
Doctor Strange's cape, hero of the
yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Love that guy. Want to see him in more stuff. Who's his agent? I wonder.
You now.
Iron Man is my absolute favorite, and I really liked the chemistry between Spider-Man
Yeah.
and Iron Man.
Oh, sorry guys.
That's okay. Oh my God! A traffic.
Jammed.
Saving our lives.
One break at a time.
Guys, this might be an episode where you don't actually see us drive to anywhere because we'll be stuck in traffic for the whole shoot.
Yeah, so we're in Minnesota. I think you guys know that, and there are 2 seasons here. We
Yep.
just got out of winter,
So
and
now
we are
it's
in
construction.
construction and traffic.
Yeah, you literally missed snow by about a week. It is now May 5th? Yeah, about a couple weeks ago, we still had 2 feet of snow on the ground.
So
I hate you, Minnesota! I hate you so much!
I love Drax.
Drax is fun.
I love Drax. Okay, so my other favorite character is Peter Dinklage. Oh my god. I have a mad crush on this man. He's so talented.
I like his voice.
And
Oh my
yeah,
god.
his voice is
He's just
great.
got the best voice.
I've never heard him do this accent before.
It's exactly the same as his.
How would you describe this accent?
Super deep voice.
No, I mean they just put that through like a synthesizer. That's
you
not.
think they did?
Oh, totally. Yeah, I mean that's not his voice going that deep. I can assure you.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it. And Manda, you said you noticed something about
About Peter Dinklage?
yeah, about his
About his stature?
yeah.
So he's a fairly short person, but they blew up his character. He was very, very big, and in fact they call him a giant dwarf, which is interesting because what powers his melding contraption. Is that what it's called?
A forge.
Contrast.
A melding contraption.
So the way that they forged his forge is by a star, right? A star
Star power.
a star. And it's just funny because it's a star that he uses, and he's a giant dwarf, so it's got some science humor. Star.
I mean,
Or
Astrology.
Don't say astrology. No, that is
So-
forbidden.
I got a kick out of that, but his performance, as always, was so amazing. Even his part was pretty small, but good God, he's so memorable. And then
it's just because he owns everything he does.
everything he does.
really just is an
I mean,
actor's actor.
He
Great
said
guy.
he said some quip back to Thor about stars and
No,
he's
it's
like
about dying.
dying. That's
Yeah.
what it was. It's like that's suicide. And he's like, only if I die. And then Peter Dinklage was like, well,
Yes,
yeah.
that's what dying means.
and you can just see it in his eyes. It's just so perfectly delivered. And then the other thing that I found really interesting is so the composer is the same composer who did Ready Player One, Alan
Yep.
Silvestri, and like Ready Player One, there were Easter eggs. One that really
Oh,
spoke
yeah.
to me was, if there are any Arrested Development fans out there, Tobias Funke, all in blue.
I just blew myself.
That's that very one
My favorite
is
line.
in this film in the background.
I
Check it
did
out.
not notice that.
I totally missed it, but when you
Did you bring it up?
Yeah, I know.
That's
You kind of want to
awesome.
see it again just to find that one little Easter egg.
It's just like, why? Why is he there? Why is he there at all?
because it's hilarious.
I mean, I have no
it
idea.
is-
A hoot and a half.
Just,
I'm looking forward to the reboot of Arrested Development. I don't think they can slaughter 2 reboots.
Nah,
So,
like, and
nah.
if
Well-
they do, like, that's it. That's it.
That's
We're
it.
cutting
Then
them
I'm
off.
giving up.
But yeah, going back to the jokes though, I think that the humor was really good. A
Spot
good thing for
on.
the movie. Otherwise, it would have been boring. I
Does
think.
anybody want a
'cause if-
metaphysical sandwich?
Ah, I do. I'll take a metaphysical ham sandwich, please.
On rye.
Because otherwise, it would have just been like explosions, fights, and
Too
then
much
it's
action.
just a
And then-
2.5 hours
and
of
by the
music
end-
video clip.
overly depressing.
Absolutely.
This is
Yeah,
the.
this one was
this
a
is
bit more
definitely the
serious.
Marvel Universe's Empire Strikes Back. This is the movement where everything goes horribly wrong for
But we're not going to let you know
everybody.
the end. We're not going to let you know the end.
But
So
Raimi,
just kidding.
Raimi, you said that the Guardians really took the forefront for you in this.
Yeah.
Did you guys notice, though, that there was only one sequence where they brought in that kind of standard Guardian music?
Yeah.
And that's when they were soaring in for the first time?
Yeah, but I think it's nice that they brought it.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that they didn't do the whole movie like this because it's an Avengers movie, or at least it's supposed to be.
Right.
Yeah, I gotta agree
So that
with
the choice makes a lot of sense, in my opinion.
This is the only thing where I actually disagree with you on this movie. I think that the composer, Alan Silvestri, could have done variations. You know, he could have taken little bits from, you know, Captain America's theme and Iron Man's theme. And because they did take the one song for Guardians of the Galaxy, and
Yeah.
they did take the theme for the Black Panther, and they popped those in, and that was it.
That was
And
seamless, though.
I-
That worked really well.
They were seamless, and even in Ready Player One, they did, you know, themes from each one of these bits that they pulled out, and it made those moments more powerful, especially the introduction of each one. So
Right.
it's like the first time Captain America came on screen, it was really more the Captain America theme. Just even for a second, I would have really dug that.
See, I agree with you. That would be that would
If
have
it had
been
been
great.
done subtly and
Yeah.
classy.
I guess my question is,
Classy.
gi-
Keep it classy.
Keep it classy.
given the example you gave from Ready Player One, it shows that he knows what he is doing. So I'm wondering why that didn't happen. Is it because
must have been
maybe
a deliberate
he didn't
choice.
compose the rest, and maybe he didn't feel comfortable playing other people's work?
It
Although did he
must
do
be a
Guardians?
deliberate
I don't know.
choice.
I don't know. Yeah,
I don't know if he did Guardians, actually.
I couldn't tell you. Anyway, the last thing I would say is this Avengers movie, I think, reconciled me with Thor. Because after watching the first movie, I just didn't want to hear about Thor ever again.
Pirate
Oh,
meets
bad it
angel.
was bad.
The first Thor movie.
The first
it was
Thor movie.
horrible. It was horrible. I love Natalie Portman. I love Chris Hemsworth. I think Stellan Skarsgård was in that one, and it was just
Awful.
horrible. So
The
yeah,
thing
they've
that-
really
But
come
that
back.
really reconciled me. So maybe
Mhm.
at some point I'll watch the second
I was
one.
thinking the same one. I was thinking the same thing, actually.
I was really disappointed though that Thor in this had such a short haircut. I
Yeah.
needed
I
the
agree,
long.
actually. I actually agree
I get
because he
that.
looks like a normal, like, hot human rather than like a god now. I mean, like, you knew him by his hair. It's almost like Samson, like you know him by his hair and his hammer.
Yes.
A Fabio
Well, he got the
figure.
hammer back. Maybe the
Sort
hair
of.
is coming back next time.
Oh,
Sure
maybe.
hope so.
All
Although
right.
they did mention that between Captain America and Thor, they commented on each other's hair.
Yeah.
And their
the
beards
beard
being
and the
so
beard.
similar, that was great.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
fun.
All right. Do we have anything to add?
No, it was good fun.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's move on to the ratings, Callie.
Oh
What do
my
you think?
goodness. I don't know how to start out with rating this because it's like, again, so different from the films we usually see. But I had a really good time. I did not fall asleep. The Avengers, well, like,
And she didn't pee.
I didn't pee either.
No urine, no sleep. She's basically a superhuman.
But the cameo bits, like, that didn't bother me. I enjoyed seeing Groot. I enjoyed seeing the rabbit. I really enjoyed all of the characters. So I think I would even venture to give this a 4 Bs.
All right.
Ooh.
Okay, I'm next. Like I said, enjoyed the movie. Actually, really good time. So I would give it a high note. I'm just going to go down a notch just because I'm
because you
sick.
can.
No, just because I'm sick of seeing the same thing over and over again. Like, create something new, people, please. If that's the direction Hollywood is really
Oh,
heading,
man.
I don't
We're
want to
only
be watching
halfway
movies
through that
anymore.
Marvel cycle, you know.
I know.
Fuck ton to go.
Anyway, I think I'll give it a 4 as well, just because I can.
Oh.
Yeah.
And James and Amanda.
You want to go first?
You go ahead.
Okay. I had a really good time. I've tried my best to see as many Marvel movies as humanly possible, but I am but one man. So I have not been able to catch all of them. And I really want to be able to give it more than 3 out of 5 Bs. I really do. But I feel like if you've even missed one movie
Yeah.
in the Marvel franchise, there's going to be gaps in here.
Yeah.
You know, I honestly think any movie should be able to honestly stand on its own 2 feet without needing too much explanation or the audience to see many other films in order to understand what's going on.
You do need
I
it.
completely agree with you.
You do.
So, I mean, out of all the Marvel movies I've seen, this is definitely up there. Definitely top 5,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd agree with that.
but only
Agreed.
3 out of 5 Bs. I'm sorry. I'm
Okay.
sorry. I'm sorry,
That's
Stan.
fine.
I'm sorry.
So
You were a great bus driver, by the way, this time.
Fantastic.
All right.
I love seeing his cameos.
That's one cameo that's always worth
It's
seeing.
always worth
Oh,
seeing.
the
Yeah.
man, the ledge.
Okay, so I enjoyed it. I did like most of the cameos. I did like the humor, obviously Drax and who else was Thor was really funny, and I love Peter Dinklage. But there are a couple of plot points that I have question marks about, and I think we did talk about it before a little bit, and we think that might be left for the next film to sort of rectify for us. So I'm not going to say anything about that, but there were question marks, and you know, What happened to the Archer guy? Did he just like disappear? Did he die in one of the other ones? Like he just wasn't.
Wait, wasn't he one of the people who was mentioned as being away on some sort of like fishing retreat or something, or like he's helping someone out?
It's like
they did that with like a few people. Like, where's such and such? Oh, he's out. He's shopping. He's getting groceries for the superhero hideout.
Okay. It's because he's everybody's least favorite. They're like, this guy's got powers, and this guy's a god, and this guy's got a suit, and he's just got a bow and arrow. I can get that from Katniss. Let me go watch the Hunger Games. But
yeah, maybe they just didn't include him because, like, in the last Avengers movie, they did kind of call out how just ridiculous Hawkeye is. Like, Hawkeye himself is like, yeah, I'm just a dude with a bow and arrow. I don't even know what I'm doing here. And the audience is like, yeah, we don't either. Maybe you should.
Not
so there's some holes in the plot, and there are some holes in the characters. But the main thing is, I agree that the Guardians did steal the show, and for that, and the fact that it was like most of the movies we've seen this year, it felt a little rushed to me. By shoving everybody in there, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5.
Fair enough.
3 out of 5.
All right, guys.
Giving out a lot of 3s lately.
I know.
Thanks for tuning in this week, and we will see you next week with some original content.
Yeah.
Oh, you lucky thing.
Bye.
Bye.